Assassin's Creed Shadows. Paying full price for open-world fatigue is tough, but at 55% off, grabbing this massive chunk of feudal Japan for $31 feels entirely justified. Swapping between a heavy-hitting samurai and a lethal shinobi completely changes how you approach every single fort and assassination target. Sure, the typical Ubisoft map clutter is absolutely still here, but when you're dynamically destroying environments during a thunderstorm with a katana, you hardly notice. At this price, the hours of pure stealth action you get easily justify the entry fee. Silent Hill 2. Everyone knows the fog and the psychological trauma, but the way this remake completely rebuilt the dread from the ground up is staggering. The combat is definitely chunkier than modern action games, though that just adds to the desperate feeling of trying to survive with a rusty pipe and 3 bullets. Dropping below $30 for a horror experience this polished is practically unheard of so soon. If you want a weekend where every shadow in your apartment makes you flinch, grabbing this at 60% off is a terrifyingly smart move. Wayfinder. This had one of the rockiest launches in recent memory, but the developers pulled off an insane pivot. They stripped out the microtransactions, ripped out the always online requirement, and turned it into a fantastic standalone co-op action RPG. The combat is snappy, the character designs are gorgeous, and the loot grind is dangerously addictive now that it actually respects your time. Seeing an 87% discount down to just over $3 is absurd. For less than a fast food side order, you're getting a fully retooled adventure you and your friends can lose weeks to. The Outlast Trials. Cooperative horror usually devolves into a comedy club, but this manages to keep your heart racing even when your friend is screaming for help in a bear trap. The Cold War brainwashing facility setting is deeply uncomfortable, forcing you to solve complex, bloody puzzles while being hunted by terrifyingly voiced psychopaths. It is brutal, unfair at times, and entirely panic-inducing. For $12, pulling 3 friends into this 70% off nightmare is easily the most entertaining chaos you can buy this sale. Just don't expect to trust each other afterward. The Rogue Prince of Persia. Dead Cells developers applying their roguelite mastery to a legendary franchise should instantly have your attention. The wall running adds a massive layer of verticality to the combat, letting you vault over shields and kick enemies off cliffs in one fluid motion. It takes a few runs to click, and some biomes can feel a bit punishing early, but the flow state you eventually reach is pure adrenaline. Snagging this level of movement tech for $9 makes it one of the smartest impulse buys you could make right now. Ride 4. The sheer realism on display here is intimidating in the best way possible. Watching first-person footage of this motorcycle simulator in the rain often looks completely indistinguishable from real life. The learning curve is absolutely brutal. You will eat asphalt repeatedly, but mastering a superbike around a wet corner delivers a rush arcade racers simply cannot match. With an 85% discount dragging the price down to just $6, it's almost a crime not to add it to your library just to show off your monitor's capabilities. Mortal Online 2. A hardcore first-person sandbox MMO where literally everyone wants to steal your boots. There are 0 training wheels here. If you die, you drop your loot. But that extreme risk creates player-driven politics, massive territorial wars, and crafting economies that actually feel alive. It's notoriously unforgiving and definitely a bit janky around the edges, but the adrenaline of sneaking a pack full of rare ore past a rival guild is unmatched. Half off for $20 is the perfect excuse to rally a squad and try to carve out your own miserable medieval life. The Forgotten City. What started as an incredibly ambitious Skyrim mod morphed into a standalone time loop mystery that will hijack your brain for a solid weekend. You're trapped in an underground Roman city where if one person sins, everyone turns to gold. The way you exploit your knowledge of the time loop to manipulate conversations and steal items is wildly satisfying. There's minimal combat, but the writing is so sharp you won't care. $6 for a narrative puzzle this tightly constructed is an absolute steal that stays with you long after the credits. Escape Academy. Physical escape rooms cost $40 an hour, so getting an entire digital curriculum of them for $5 is a mathematical victory. Designed by actual real-world escape room creators, the puzzles strike that perfect balance between feeling impossible and making you feel like a genius 5 seconds later. The split-screen co-op is brilliant, forcing actual communication as water slowly fills the room or a bomb ticks down. It's a short, concentrated burst of frantic puzzle solving that perfectly justifies skipping your morning coffee to fund. Strange horticulture. Managing a mystical plant shop sounds incredibly boring, right up until the local cultists start demanding poisonous fungi to solve a murder. You spend most of your time cross-referencing a beautifully illustrated encyclopedia to identify bizarre flora that can cure a rash or induce amnesia. The interface is incredibly tactile, letting you drag maps, labels, and mysterious letters all over your desk. For less than $6, you are buying into a wonderfully eerie, rainy day atmosphere that slowly spirals into a brilliant occult mystery. Postal brain damaged. The developers completely ditched the edgy open-world jank of the mainline series and created an incredibly tight, lightning-fast boomer shooter. You're blasting your way through a fever dream using weapons that make zero sense, like a vacuum cleaner that shoots cats. It is undeniably stupid, incredibly crude, and unapologetically fun. The movement speed is off the charts, rewarding ridiculously aggressive playstyles. Dropping down to $5 makes this an effortless recommendation for anyone who just wants to turn their brain off and shoot fast for an afternoon. Quest Hunter. Finding a local co-op action RPG that doesn't overwhelm casual players with spreadsheets is surprisingly rare. You hack apart goblin camps, dig for treasure with a shovel, and solve light environmental puzzles. The combat is simplistic and the story won't win any awards, but the pacing is genuinely addictive. It thrives on that pure dopamine-fueled loot loop. Grabbing this for $4 is arguably the cheapest way to secure an entire weekend of couch co-op entertainment with a partner or a kid who just wants to smash pots for gold. Fury Unleashed. A roguelite action platformer where you literally shoot your way through the pages of a comic book. The entire flow relies on a combo system. If you kill enemies fast enough, you heal and gain massive buffs, completely altering how aggressively you push forward. When you finally hit that flow state, dodging ink bullets while clearing an entire page in 10 seconds, it feels phenomenal. It is sitting at a 90% discount for $2. You probably have $2 in your couch cushions right now. Buy this immediately. Endzone 2. Most city builders give you a peaceful plot of land. This one throws you into a radioactive wasteland, gives you a rusty bus, and actively tries to kill your settlers with toxic rain. You aren't just placing buildings, you are managing expeditions into ruins, securing distinct zones, and frantically balancing contaminated water supplies. It's a stressful, incredibly satisfying survival management sim. Seeing a highly requested sequel drop to $9 makes it a ridiculously good pickup for anyone who thinks traditional city builders are a little too relaxing. Havendock. You wake up on a tiny piece of driftwood and slowly construct a sprawling, automated ocean settlement. It scratches the exact same itch as Factorio or Raft, but with a much cozier, stress-free vibe. You'll eventually have penguins pumping water and submarines exploring the depths while you optimize your potato farms. It has a nasty habit of making 4 hours vanish in what feels like 15 minutes. Getting this level of automation obsession for $6 means you're paying pennies per hour of pure enjoyment. Far Cry New Dawn. The neon-soaked post-apocalyptic follow-up to Far Cry 5 gets a lot of grief for its light RPG mechanics, but it secretly has some of the best outpost takeovers in the franchise. The expedition system lets you fly to completely separate, highly detailed maps just to steal loot and extract while under heavy fire. The progression loop of upgrading your home base is extremely satisfying. At $8, skipping the full price debate and treating this as a massive, colorful expansion pack is easily the smartest way to play it. Spirit of the Island. Farming sims are everywhere, but combining crop management with running a tropical tourist destination completely shifts the dynamic. You aren't just watering tomatoes, you're building museums, managing shops, and trying to attract wealthy visitors to your archipelago. It has a nasty habit of making 4 hours vanish in what feels like 15 minutes. Getting this level of automation obsession for $6 means you're paying pennies per hour of pure enjoyment. Pronty. Metroidvanias usually rely on running and jumping, so shifting the entire genre underwater completely breaks the mold. Instead of a sword, you command a robotic javelin fish, directing it to shred through mutated sea creatures while you physically dodge their attacks. The movement is fluid, the boss fights are genuinely demanding, and the decaying underwater city of Roila is hauntingly beautiful. Underwater levels usually suck in video games, but an entire game built around perfect aquatic physics for under $5 is an incredibly rare win. Wuppo Definitive Edition. Do not let the doodle-like aesthetic fool you. Beneath the adorable MS Paint graphics hides a massive, intricately designed world with surprising lore, complex platforming puzzles, and legitimately tough boss encounters. You play as a blob trying to find a new home, shooting paintballs at bizarre creatures. The charm is absolutely off the charts, constantly throwing weird, delightful situations at you when you least expect them. Picking up a cult classic with this much personality is exactly why digging through Steam sales is so rewarding. Cozy Grove. Think Animal Crossing, but instead of paying off a mortgage to a raccoon, you're camping on a haunted island helping spectral bears find peace. The brilliant catch is that it only wants you to play for 30 to 60 minutes a day. The island literally runs out of tasks, forcing you to log off and come back tomorrow. It's a beautiful, low-pressure ritual that deeply respects your time.